Welcome into a live edition of the KC Laboratory presented by Emprise Bank, member FDIC, our amazing partners in Possible here at KC Sports Network. Kent Swanson, Craig Stout, and Maddie Lane here on a beautiful Wednesday. For all of you that just got done listening to Taylor Swift on New Heights, I hope it was great. I can't wait to find out. I am here with my dear pals. Maddie Lane, how are we?
Listen, we're doing all right. Unfortunately, got some bad news. Our farm duck, our favorite duck that we've had for 6 years, the longest one, he has finally passed away. He got attacked by something recently, didn't make it. So it has been a somber day around the house. So yes, Kent, I'm not doing as well as I have been doing other days. You have always asked me how I'm doing. It's usually well. How do you now feel that it's finally not doing well?
Not good. Sorry, man.
I'm sorry. Well, everything, it is all right. Yeah, but yeah, no, we did lose a duck. He'd been around for 6 years. He was our last Muscovy. I think I've talked about him a little bit. He was our last duck that can actually fly. So he hangs out outside the fence. He walks up all around the neighborhood. Finally caught up to him after 6 years. So hey, he outlived all the others. So yeah. But yeah, it was a little sad. Kids were very sad because he was the nicest duck that we had. So that was disappointing. But we can move on to far more fun things. Craig Stout's here. Speaking of fun things, the big RM himself.
Yeah. Way to dovetail me off the back of a dead duck story, Maddie.
He lost his entire tail and back end. So, I can't really dovetail you off that.
Fair. I'm really excited to see the same numbers that came through for New Heights come through for the KC Laboratory tonight on this live episode. Really, really ready for all of that to come through and all of us can retire. So, I'm very excited to have the three of us back together here. It's been a minute. Kent has had some previous obligations, and I'm not on Mondays, nor am I on post game. So, yeah, this is good to get to talk a little football with both of my dear pals here.
I cannot tell you guys how behind the scenes, how chaotic I have been with the schedule the last month. These guys know I have been I'm normally on it. I'm normally communicating, telling everybody when I'm out. I'm putting it on a schedule. I literally had a spreadsheet for the summer, but the spreadsheet ended in July, and I've just had so many things that I keep sneaking up on me, and then I'm texting the group oh, wait, I'm not on Monday. Oh, wait, I'm not on Wednesday. My bad. And it's just I've been putting people in terrible spots for the last few weeks. I feel terrible. I'm very sorry to these gentlemen for having to deal with this, but I am glad that we're all together again. I don't want to spoil too much Taylor Swift New Heights conversation for you, but I did see something that's been kind of making its way across the internet right now. Taylor Swift on discussing football with Travis via New Heights. We're talking about cover 2, cover 4, cover 0, man coverage.
What a spoiler.
I'm not ready to be an analyst right now, but give me 16 months.
16 months.
Does that mean Travis is playing for 2 more seasons? Is that a hint that we might be getting 16 more months of this experience?
Oh, you went that way. I went Taylor Swift's going to start an X's and O podcast, and then we're really screwed. It's over then. Yeah.
I thought she was calling out Tom Brady and saying she was coming for his job. So I guess we can take it any direction we really want.
Okay. Well, I was just hoping that maybe we're getting 2 more seasons of Trav because, a 4-month season here and then, another 12 months would be, another football season here. So I'm just speculating here a little bit. I'm hoping that's what the case is, but I don't know. We'll find out. Would love that to be the case, though. I speculate we have not seen Travis Kelce run a route in a preseason game, and we're not expecting to either. Because it sounds like he's not going to play. It sounds like Patrick Mahomes is not going to play in this week 2 preseason game, and so we have not seen young, spry, slimmed up Travis Kelce run a route. We've just seen him motion across the field and look a lot more spry than he did last season. He lumbered last year in those motions, in those short motions. And now, buddy, he looks kind of like old Trav a little bit.
Well, okay, but was that for football or was it for a GQ photo shoot?
I don't care where it comes from. I really don't care. If that man wants to make himself look all svelte for a GQ photo shoot, I don't care. I'm going to take the benefit either way.
Speaking of benefit, we are trying to benefit a lot of different organizations across the city. And we something very dear to our hearts, the KCSN Foundation. It's the kind of the foundation wing of what we're doing at KC Sports Network to try to help impact our community in a positive way. And we are doing a pre-tourney raffle to try to raise money for all the things that we're doing at the KCSN Foundation. We're supporting, feeding the homeless, children's literacy, honoring our friend Therese Paler in his memory, and all kinds of other great stuff. So you have an opportunity to win a bunch of different prizes. Chris Jones signed jersey, a Xavier Worthy rookie card, a private tour for 10 at Holiday Distillery. Like, come on. Dwayne Bowe signed jersey, or Rasheed Rice signed jersey as well. So 1 ticket for $10, 7 tickets for $50, 20 tickets for $100. You can go to KC Sports Network's Venmo. You can go to givebutter.com/KCSN golf. That link is also in the description of the show. But you have a few days left to enter this raffle and try to give yourself an opportunity to win some great prizes, but also do some good here in KC and help us. The KCSN Foundation is remarkably efficient, and that's because of all the time and effort and energy that BJ Kissel and Christian Gumminger put into it. And they do a great job making, almost all that money that is raised is going to go where it needs to go and support directly all of these organizations that we're trying to support. So would really appreciate your consideration in joining this raffle. It's the pre-tourney raffle, so it's going to be a good time. I think the announcements will be on That Football Show on August 16th, so you only have a couple days left. Jump in there. Go get yourself some prizes. We'd appreciate the support.
So, biggest news today. Sounds like the Chiefs starters might not play a whole lot in this preseason game. I don't know if we're going to touch a bunch on this later. I don't know if your guys' things that you're looking for this game focuses in on that, but what do we make of this overall? Right, in the grand scheme, this is different. This isn't Andy Reid stable. He is he's always been a second preseason game. Now had previously been the third. We're going to play the starters a quarter and a drive, right? Like they kind of always played a quarter and a drive. Now he just says, nah, we're not playing them at all. So what do we think about that?
I find it very interesting. A lot of the younger coaches have adopted this. I mean, Sean McVay has been doing this for a long time. A lot of the Sean McVay coaching tree and people that have been associated with the Kyle Shanahan coaching tree and things like that, they all kind of do similar things as well. I have some takes on it later, so I'm going to leave some of this dormant, but suffice to say, I was floored. I'm with you. When I heard Andy come out and say, yeah, I don't know if we're going to see some of these starters, I was shocked. This is when Andy Reid loves to get his starters a little bit more time. He prides himself on the fact that they are the most prepared team when they come into week one, and he views the preseason as an extension of that. I do think that there is a correlation between this and Patrick Mahomes coming out and saying the words, we didn't have any low energy days at St. Joe. I think that matters a lot. I think that really shows that there is a level of focus and a level of attention that maybe we haven't seen. And with the evolution of some of these younger coaches coming in and doing some of this stuff, resting guys through the entire preseason, and having a good training camp, Andy may have just kind of read the tea leaves here a little bit and said, hey, let's keep everybody healthy and just focus on week one.
So here's what I find funny is you're seeing some teams start to flip the script a little bit, right? You're seeing the Cincinnati Bengals, who have been notorious for not playing their starters at all. Joe Burrow was out there week one. You're starting to see, I think, these teams try to because they've been saying they've studied successful teams that start hot in September, and they tend to be the ones that practice and play a little bit more in these games and all this kind of stuff. And so you're seeing some teams start to adopt some of what Andy has historically done, and now Andy's flipping it on its head a little bit. And here's what's funny to me: I think you go back and you look at, they didn't do the rookie days this year. They didn't bring the quarterbacks in early this year. I think this is a tired football team that has played and went to the ultimate game 3 straight seasons. And I think that the wear and tear and the longevity and the 2 extra weeks that they've lost. I mean, they've lost in a month and a half combined over the last 3 seasons, just simply playing in the Super Bowl, not even losing in the AFC Championship game, just simply playing in the Super Bowl has lost them 6 extra weeks of rest over the last 3 seasons combined. So I think it's probably just potentially a pivot away just to one, they've been doing a little bit differently this year. And 2, like, I think we'll see who actually does rest, right? I don't know if the rules necessarily need to apply to Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce the way that they apply to other people. And I think that obviously will be one of the big questions. But I think just who's on that list? Who is on that list? I mean, Chris Jones flat out skipped training camp and won an entire game one season, and they went on to win the Super Bowl. So, like, maybe the rules don't apply to him too. So, I mean, that might be a core of players that can get away with it and they feel comfortable with that. And then the rest of the team has to continue and chug along. I think that's something that's worth watching, but I don't know. This is I feel like this has been a different approach this season for Andy than historically.
Do you have a guess on who those guys might be? Do we?
Probably
Patrick, Travis. Yeah.
Chris. Shamari Connor.
Trent, Nick. I think Nick Bolton.
Yeah,
probably. He gets the same sort of treatment.
Do we think George Karlaftis plays?
No.
Yeah, I think George Karlaftis suits up.
Does he ask for a break? I don't know.
On the long drive drill.
Okay, I think Creed and Trey might play because I think you need to get Josh Simmons and Kingsley some more reps. You would rather at least get a drive or 2 with the starters. Those, maybe they mix and match and those 2 stay on. The 2 younger guys stay on longer. But like, I wouldn't be surprised to see them play. And maybe you even give 2 drives because you got to get Jalen Moore maybe in there at right tackle too. It is interesting they're switching it up this year because the Chiefs, while they've started relatively hot to start the year, I don't feel like we've ever had a season where the Chiefs peaked too early. So it is interesting that they're messing with the formula now, right? Like these other teams that are going back, like the teams that are doing this different stuff, they're worried about peaking too early, so they want to do it at the right time. Or like with the Bengals case, Frogles case, Kent's favorite team as he has their quarterback on his fantasy football team by choice. They keep failing to start the year. So they have to go out and like they're trying to start a little bit quicker. I don't know. It's interesting to see that the Chiefs are changing what they typically do, despite the fact that they have obviously had a lot of success sticking to the formula. But it has been a lot of football. So any other big news from you guys? This is perfect.
I didn't see any.
Because Craig's got a new segment that he pitched to us. I am going to let him explain it, but I do have to say I have named it. We are now about to partake in 7 minutes with Craig.
No, that's not what we're calling this segment. No.
Yeah, I think we are.
You can't.
It's on the rundown.
Go your way into that. No.
But wait a second.
Oh, damn it.
7 minutes.
And the time will be kept by me on my phone poorly. So you don't have to be actually held to 7 minutes.
Hold on here. I don't like this. I asked for suggestions for the names and y'all were quiet. Just silent throughout all of this.
Behind the curtain, about an hour before you pitched your idea, I had told Tucker that I had this idea to do 7 minutes with Craig where he talks about last week's game. And then I saw your thing come there. I was like, perfect. So
when you guys were like, that's a hell of an idea, Craig, you were just placating me. Okay, we're doing this in 30 seconds now.
This vibe is fantastic.
It's going to be an awkward 6.5 minutes.
Yeah, you just get to chill over there now. All right. Welcome to my new segment, apparently called 7 Minutes with Craig. We're going to be doing this as I'm on the lab Wednesdays every single week this season. I'm not going to be able to give my game takes until Wednesdays. And honestly, I think that that's pretty beneficial for the way that I tend to watch football. I am less of a snap judgment individual. I like to go back. I like to watch the All-22. I like to find things that are very interesting to me. And so this will allow us to kind of come back together on Wednesday, put a nice little bow on the Chiefs game from the previous week, get to talk about some interesting elements of this. It's not always going to be, super X's and O's takes, but I do have some for this week.
Hold on. Tug, I need the music. I need the music.
No.
Keep it going.
My only worry was I don't know how it'll translate to the audio version of the podcast, but
Let's
I
find
will
out.
play the music.
Let's
I
find
guess
out.
yeah, I guess we won't know until we try.
Oh my god.
1 minute down.
I gotta break down a play over a bed of music. This is gonna
Wouldn't be the first time.
Yay. Well,
Over
so
bed or music.
Oh, this is too sexy for what I'm about to. No, it's the perfect amount of sexy for what I'm about to talk about. Let's talk a little bit about blocking a delayed draw. Ladies and gentlemen, we got to see a little bit of a new wrinkle this week in preseason week 1, and it was with the starting offensive line. I know when Kansas City Chiefs fans hear the word draw, they're thinking of second and long, and one of these was on second and long, and they think of the Chiefs running back running full steam from a shotgun formation directly into the back of an offensive lineman or into a defender for no gain, setting up a third and long. The Chiefs introduced a little bit of a new wrinkle this week in preseason. Now, it's not something that Andy Reid has come up with here. This has existed for quite some time. I believe, Maddie, you even called it delay, just kind of referring to it a little more descriptive than just the traditional draw. Is that correct?
Yes, I was muted, so I wanted to make sure I got muted before I talked. For me, I think of a draw is you are actively going to drop back a little bit. You're going to pretend to pass the ball, and then you're handing it off, and your offensive line is essentially just all pass setting. A delay happens a little bit quicker to me. Your running back's going to stay there. I mean, you quite literally are just dropping back and taking a beat. You're not really making it look fully like a pass from the quarterback and the running back. It's more the offensive line. And as you're about to talk about, I think you can do a little bit more with the blocking scheme out of this.
I agree. And so what we saw against an odd front from the Cardinals this week is when they were lined up, when they weren't in the odd front meaning that the Cardinals on some base downs, they had a zero technique lined up straight up over over Creed Humphrey, the center, and then 2 4 eyes, basically just in the gap between the guards and the tackles there. They like to line up that way. But
hear that, Maddie? 4 eyes.
4 eyes.
Well, he said retech earlier.
I think that most of them wear contacts. I don't think they put on.
Oh my goodness, is this what this segment's going to be every week? So
I don't know what Kent's doing. I'm so sorry.
I know he's vibing.
You're halfway through 7 minutes.
If you're not watching the video, Ken is really just enjoying himself over here. So when the Cardinals were lining up where they had a more traditional even front, so they had like a shade nose tackle lined up as either a 1 or 2 technique and then a 3 technique opposite them, the Chiefs ran this delay twice, once with Isaiah Pacheco on the very first offensive play of the game after the fumble, and then another time with Kareem Hunt. This was on the second drive of the game. So again, with the Chiefs roughly starting offensive line, and it was on a second and long. It was after the Tyquan Thornton big third down conversion. They ran outside zone on first down and turned around and ran this delay. The wrinkle with this, defensive linemen, when they see plays like this draw play, they are reading the offensive lineman. And the goal is to influence a defensive lineman here by standing up, showing a high hat. So basically, if you're standing straight up as a blocker, defensive linemen are viewing that as a path play. So that's when they start shooting a gap in between. If you've got a low hat or you're kind of trying to drive forward, defensive lineman's going to pop up, try and hold this position, anchor down, and trying to hold multiple gaps. That's roughly, high hat, low hat there. The Chiefs are playing off of that tendency by showing a player like Creed Humphrey, who is an exceptional athlete, by having him, when he's uncovered in these looks, stand up straight, even taking a step back on the second one, and flashing like he is pass blocking. All of the defensive linemen are reading pass at that point. The linebackers, because Patrick Mahomes, it's not a full draw, so it's not really drawn out like he's setting up to pass. The linebackers stay put because they read the high hat first. They keep their feet in the ground there before Patrick turns around, hands the ball off to Isaiah Pacheco, hands the ball off to Kareem Hunt. With Creed Humphrey being completely uncovered here, he is able to climb to the second level immediately to a linebacker that frankly has not taken a step downhill yet. The other two defensive linemen are now trying to shoot a gap opposite of Creed Humphrey there to the outside of the guards, and Kingsley and Trey are strong enough and move well enough to where they could just ride those guys straight up the field because they don't care. They're not trying to protect the quarterback. They're not trying to keep pocket integrity. And now all of a sudden you've got a cavernous gap in the middle of the offensive line that Isaiah Pacheco, Kareem Hunt, it doesn't require this person that can just really, put their foot in the ground, churn out 9 yards when, there's nothing there. This is a huge gap for him to run through. Travis Kelce on the first one of these is coming across the formation in like a sit or a chair route, like right in between the linebackers, and takes a linebacker out. Isaiah Pacheco goes for 9 yards on the first one. Kareem Hunt goes for 10 on the second one that they ran. They ran it twice, and both times the defensive linemen were in hell. Like, this was one of these things that Chiefs are not showing very often. They are using Creed Humphrey as a weapon. They are using the fact that they've got guards that can maul a little bit. Listen, Kingsley played pretty well in the run game. When I went back and watched it, Andy Heck's not wrong. His run game stuff was fine. They've got a couple of guys that can line up, move some bodies in the run game. They've got a really, truly elite athlete in center in Creed Humphrey. And they found a way to kind of capitalize on that and use it with a play that looks very similar to something that Chiefs fans hate, absolutely despise. And so that was really fun to watch them run that twice this past week in a preseason game, twice in 2 drives. There are going to be defensive coordinators and defensive linemen that are watching that going, damn it. Yeah, we got more on our plate now. We got more things that we got to pay attention to here because the Chiefs will just line up and run this on second and long for 10 yards and get into that third and short that they try to get to with the normal draw. This is just way more effective.
That's been 7 minutes with Craig, and we're going to do 7 more because that was phenomenal.
No, we're not doing 7 more.
No, I like the delay play because we talked about it a little bit. The Chiefs last year just hammered a lot of RPOs, a lot of inside zone, and part of that's because their running back room wasn't good, but it also just felt like they didn't trust, I guess, their offensive line to work through a lot of stuff either. And so when you're developing like a run game, you're going to have your staple plays. And for the Chiefs, that's going to be inside zone, mid zone, a little bit of outside zone. And then they have definitely added counter. Like they do a lot of GT counter. Like that's their staple that they're pulling from. But you kind of have to have like off-speed pitches. You got to have your quote-unquote trick, not even trick plays, but like your shot plays, but in the run game. These are plays that you're going to run 2 to 3 times in a game. You're hoping to break off a 20-yard run off of these based on how you've set it up. And so just seeing the Chiefs get back to maybe trying other stuff. And typically on 1st and 10, you don't think of like a draw play as something like that. You definitely think it more of like a 2nd and long type of play or first down after a penalty. So if they can find a way to use it kind of more, I guess, aggressively in this sense, like they were doing in that first preseason game, then I'm all for it. And to Craig's point, you have Patrick Mahomes and you have a really athletic interior offensive line, right? You allow your tackles just to hinge out on the outside like they're pass protecting whichever interior player isn't occupied. It doesn't, I think even if it was a guard wasn't occupied, if Creed Humphrey was taking on a pass rusher and Trey Smith was the guy that was free, I bet he would be the one releasing late with that delay to go take a linebacker. So you utilize the athleticism of that interior offensive line. You let linebackers take a read step backwards because they're afraid of Mahomes. You let the defensive line get off the ball because they're trying to go pressure Patrick Mahomes, and then you take advantage of the space. So theoretically, I really like it. I am intrigued to see if it was something they just had like pegged down for an odd front team, or if they use it against an even front team as well, or if it was just a funky preseason look.
Yeah. And the other part of that is the further wrinkle is the moment that you have linebackers that start taking that step downhill. Well, now Travis Kelce's got more room to operate. Now Rashee Rice has more room to operate in the pass game. So it goes both ways from that regard. So if they can run this effectively and consistently, it just creates so many problems for the second level. We've seen Andy Reid just kind of sit there and tinker with edges and linebackers that he thinks can't handle what he can put on their plate and just really exploits them, really makes them have to work all game long. Those are some of the master classes for Andy Reid. This is just yet another wrinkle that he can throw on top of that.
I think adding that into the mix, just giving, like you said, giving the second level another thing to think about, and just like the build off of that. Like, what can you build off of that? You can run a fake draw PA pretty quick and push the ball down the field. Like, you can add some layers into the mix there. So like, there's always logical progressions, and then there's always 2 steps ahead. Like, Andy's always got additional layers to anything that he's showing. Sometimes they even skip the next logical progression, some things, and they start going to something else. So I liked it. It looked good. You're right, Craig. It looked good. I'm just fascinated to see if we get it in a real setting. And if we do, like, it looked effective. And I think it fits. Like, I don't remember one of you beautiful people said it fits the personnel well. It does fit the personnel of the offensive line. If you want to weaponize them better, I think this is something that you can leverage appropriately. That was an incredible 7 minutes plus. I can't
7 minutes on the dot.
I can't wait for every week 7 minutes with Craig. And if the music sounded good on the audio only,
don't tell me about it. I don't want to hear it. Don't send me any messages. Don't tell me anything about it. I don't want to hear it.
Anybody that ever sees Craig in passing, and tell him you had a fantastic time with his 7 minutes with Craig.
It's gonna hit. We're gonna make this a thing. But we're gonna take a break and we'll be back right after this.
Looking for tickets for your next event? Tickets for Less is your #1 source. Save big on every purchase when you use promo code KCSN at ticketsforless.com.
I'm BJ Kissel, founder and CEO of KC Sports Network. Emprise Bank has been with us from the beginning. They were our first network partner, and they believed in the vision of what we were building from the start. I can't speak to any other banks or companies and how they operate, but I can tell you from personal experience and based on the growth of the network you're listening to right now, that if you have banking needs, call our friends at Emprise Bank. We've worked with so many great people there over the years, from Vicky and Aggie to Andrea, Lori, Jackie, Deb, and Aaron, and not to mention so many others that not just supported KC Sports Network, but supported our KCSN Foundation as well. But the best thing that I know is that if I have a question or a problem, no matter how dumb the question is, I know who I'm going to call and who I'm going to talk to. And I know that I'm getting an answer from someone that I can trust. And I know that person is there to help us. That's why Emprise Bank has always been and continues to be our partner in Possible. And they can be yours too. You just have to reach out. If you have a banking need, whether it's business or personal, hit me up. I will connect you directly with the same people that have helped us build KCSN. And that's our friends at Emprise Bank.
Folks, nothing beats hanging out with the boys on a hot summer day and watching some baseball. And the simplest way that you all can get in on the action is to download the Pick 6 app from DraftKings. It is crazy simple. Just pick more or less on the stats for 2 or more of your favorite players, and boom, you're in the mix for big cash prizes. And the best part is, Pick 6 is available right here in Missouri. Don't miss out on the fun. Don't settle for a smaller payout. Switch to Pick 6, and right now, new customers can get $25 in bonus picks with their first deposit of $5. Here's what you got to do. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app now and then use code KCSN. That's code KCSN for new customers to get $25 in bonus picks with their first deposit of $5. Better payouts, bigger wins, only with Pick 6 from DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Must be 18 plus. Age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Void where prohibited. New customers only. Minimum $5 deposit. Bonus picks expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see pick6.draftkings.com/promos.
Appreciate everyone hanging out with us on a Wednesday night. We are getting ready for a preseason football game for your Kansas City Chiefs on Friday night. It is going to be a late one. Maddie Lane will not be there for the post-game show. He already said he's not staying up till 1:30 or actually 2 a.m. to do a show. I guess I guess
30 by the time we get done with the podcast.
Yeah. So me and Tuck holding it down on Friday night.
You guys are gonna do such a good job.
Do you want to, like, call back to the lack of planning from me? I had a mild panic moment because I'm in a wedding this weekend, and the rehearsal dinner is on Friday night. and I'm gonna get back. Yep, I'm gonna get back and watch the game and do.
Yeah, you'll get back. You'll have time to shower, probably take a nap. Then the game will start because it's so late at night.
I was gonna say they better not be having a rehearsal dinner at 9 p.m.
I just thought it was funny, like my lack of planning again. I've just been so out of sight, out of mind. It's been like a week. I've been taking it like it's like a week to week thing for me. Like just life. It's been week to week, and I'm like, this is happening this week. So yeah.
You know what else might be week to week? Your QB Joe Burrow, because he got decked by rookie Shamar Stewart today. So you might want to go check on your guy.
Good for Shamar Stewart.
Chiefs fan Shamar Stewart. Noted Chiefs fan Shamar Stewart. So you guys started a new kind of format on these questions. I'm gonna need an explanation. I texted Tucker 3 questions and I don't even know if I did it right.
He didn't put numbers by them, so I had to decide what numbers were which for his.
I hope you did it out of order.
I think.
And now it's time for 7 minutes with Kent.
7 minutes of explaining the show to Kent.
I don't think it's very complicated. You're picking 3 questions or things you want to see about this upcoming game.
Okay, I did it right then.
And you're ranking them 1 to 3 based on what you want to see the most versus the least. But it's not actually a ranking.
It's
not actually a ranking.
Not really
you just number it.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was a step too far. That was too maddied.
Oh, okay.
That was a little too maddied.
That's fine. Oh, you know what? You can't go first.
Burger scale.
Right.
Oh god.
Yeah. Can you recite the burger scale by heart right now?
Town topic. 5 guys, and I was upset about that.
No,
you're already wrong.
Nope.
Maddie and I had to talk about the Sit Antonio questions. If you listened, you would have known.
Oh,
5 guys.
Ready?
No,
5
it was down top. Whataburger?
No.
Okay.
Westport Flea Market, buddy.
I don't think 5 guys was involved.
Yeah.
I don't think so either.
Local.
It was not. It was McDonald's,
Okay.
Whataburger.
Before we lose every listener here, we should get to preseason week 2.
All right, throw one of my questions up, Tuck. How many reps does the left side of the offensive line get? That's like my first big burning question for this game.
Sure.
Third, ranked number 1 though in my heart. I think it kind of ties into everything that we were talking about earlier. It's like, yeah, it sounds like we're gonna see some guys get some reduced reps or no reps. It sounds like Patrick Mahomes is probably out. Travis Kelce's probably out. I don't know if Chiefs should be doing this with the offensive line. We got to see the left side play a little bit more last week. They got 2 possessions with that unit got 2 possessions, got him 11 plays and 11 opportunities to get something out on film. I would like to see that amount doubled, or maybe at least exceeded. I think hopefully doubled, but I'd like to see at least the left side of that offensive line getting some work. Getting to, kind of keep developing, because I think that group badly needs just to get more and more reps. Like this, the Chiefs are making adjustments and they're changing how they do business a little bit this preseason. Learn from the mistakes of last year. Don't just bench Kingsley very quickly like they did last season, then have to find out in the middle of the Bengals game that he ain't it. You might need to find a little bit more out, especially with Kingsley. So that's my first question.
No, I agree with all that. Like that. I would like to see them get a quarter, like whether that's multiple drives, whatever the case may be. I would like to see those 2 specifically, Josh Simmons and Kingsley Suamataia, get a full quarter together. They're gonna need it. I know that they've been in camp together. Did we get a full quarter? We got just short of a full quarter in preseason 1. Yeah, I just, give them reps, give them time together, get that down. I know that camp and practice is going to be really what that's for, but it's just something different getting to line up and hit guys. So yeah, I'm with you fully there.
I believe that my number 3 in this non-ranked situation of questions I have is similar to this. So we'll have Tuck throw that up there. I want to see this first team offensive line get some true pass sets. I don't really care like how much they play. It can be one drive if they have 7 plays, but they actually drop back and throw some like real pass concepts out there, because I think they only did it twice in the first game. One of them might have been off of play action, if I remember right. I know one, there was like chips on both sides. Like, I just want to see some real pass sets. I don't need like necessarily shot plays where it's max protect. Don't want to see it coming off of RPOs. I just want the Chiefs to drop back and run a 5-step normal pass play to see what it looks like. And hey, bonus points if it's on a passing down. So the pass rush is actually pinning their ears back and really trying to get downhill and get after, I guess it's going to be Gardner Minshew here. Yeah, I just want to see them challenged. I think the Chiefs did a pretty good job of protecting the young offensive linemen in the first game. They didn't put them in situations to have to do anything overly difficult besides the 1 3rd down play, which went relatively well for them. So I want to see some true pass sets. The Cardinals ran plenty of it. Plenty of teams around the NFL ran normal concepts. The Chiefs did as the game got on. They just didn't do it with Patrick Mahomes or the one series with Minshew. So just give me some pass sets. I want to see what Josh Simmons like. I want to see what Kingsley's like when they have to just drop back, make their sets, kick slide, actually protect, and get some one-on-one action. Just see what happens.
If they don't, I'm going to start getting very worried about, are they trying to hide something? Like, are they trying not to give the Chargers pass rushers something to study in week 1 or something like that? That's where I start getting a little dicey. So I'm with you. It's not like a 1-to-1 thing there where if we don't see anything, they're definitely doing this, but that starts to enter my mind a lot more.
Andy's always pretty secretive with preseason stuff, like things like this. So like, it's not out of left field. It's just, it was very noticeable to me watching that the quote unquote first or like 1st and a half team offense against the Cardinals, and how like limited it was, how little they did that required their players to do a lot, versus like when the backups got in, like the full backups, they were like, okay, now go try stuff. Like, now we're not trying to win, but like, hey, now we're going to actually run stuff from our like install. So I don't know. We'll see how this one plays out. I don't know if I have high hopes though, because I made these questions kind of in my mind before I heard that the first team might not play. If we're not getting Mahomes and we're not getting Kelsey and we're like limiting what they do, I don't know if they might just get out of here with one drive again and call it a day. And as Craig and I talked about, I would really like to see Josh Simmons play more than like 30 reps the entire preseason just to get some experience.
I don't think the upside of it is valuable. The limited reps that you're putting on tape for the Chargers pass rush to analyze, like, I don't know. Like, I think you just need to get out there and give them some opportunities and give them some looks.
Yeah.
Craig, what's yours?
See it. All right. My number 3 is, can a linebacker step up? And I don't mean forward towards the offensive line. They did that plenty incorrectly, but they did it plenty. They did step forward. The linebacker play was abysmal in preseason week 1. It was terrible. Now, this is not a Nick Bolton thing. Nick was fine. For the limited number of reps that he got, Nick was just fine in that role. Leo was just fine. I'm talking about everybody else, the rest of the room that got to play. Drew Tranquill did not, but we saw 43-48 not know where anything was going. That's Cole Christensen, Jack Cochran. They had no idea where the play was supposed to go, and when they did, they missed tackles badly. This is not what you want out of the first 2 guys up after your starters here. You want guys that are going to be special teamers that can step in and play a game or two. What I witnessed in preseason week 1 was terrible. Was a group of guys that was not organizing the defense. It was a major fall off from Nick Bolton. Regardless of what you think about him and where he ranks on your linebacker list, it was a major fall off. Like, it was huge. It was cavernous. I know I've said cavernous a lot this podcast. It was cavernous. But there is hope here. We saw some flashes out of Jeff Bassa. He's more of a point and shoot guy. He's not reading much right now. It's just basically see ball, get ball. That's fine. This defense has operated with guys like that before. See Willie Gay Jr. You can have a guy like this on that team. I'm not worried about that at all. Cam Jones got a little dinged up. He was not great either, but was better than the other 2 there. Then we started getting into some deeper guys in the roster here. Brandon George played Mike, as the third string Mike. Defense was very discombobulated. That's understandable. It's a third team defense here. I really liked what we saw out of Cooper McDonald, but he was a Sam. Now, he was a Sam that seemed to understand the defense really well. He was explaining it to Joshua Williams. He was standing there telling Josh Williams where he needed to go. But he played with some heavy hands, lined up, played pretty well as well. I want to see some of these guys that showed glimpses, like let's say Bassa, let's say Cam Jones, let's say Cooper McDonald, maybe climb up the depth chart a little bit more to see if they can line up and take one of these spots from these two guys that have been in the system for a long time and seemingly really struggled to execute the game plan and keep everybody on the same page. I need to see something out of another linebacker here because what I watched was just awful. The second team defensive line against the run was doing pretty well, and it did not matter at all because the linebackers were just in no man's land behind them. I just have to have a linebacker do something because it was awful in preseason week 1.
So I got a question for both of you real quick. And this one's not going up on the board, but how many linebackers do you think they keep? I'm guessing 5.
What do they normally keep?
I think 5 or 6. This feels like a 5.
5. Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Why not?
Okay. I think Jack Cochran's an absolute mortal lock. And it's because
of teams or because he plays backup Mike?
Because of teams. So we're talking.
Hey, you know who else was running with the first team special teams? Cooper McDonald. Just want to say that. He's out there.
I don't think they're going to keep a 5th linebacker that only plays Sam.
I want them to keep him. This is my petition, much like the Big Bob club that Tucker has started.
That's not the name.
That's not the name. I couldn't come up with it off the top of my head here.
Big
Bob Booster Committee. Yeah.
Big Bob Booster Club. Great club. I'm just curious to see how many they wind up keeping, and if they keep 5, then it's Cochran and Bassa, and if not, then it's McDonald, Cam Jones, Brandon George, Cole Christensen. It's that group. So,
as I went and looked up, last year how many did they keep last year? Because they got a lot of guys that got special team snaps, and a lot of them. Cochran had 69%.
I don't know if they were all on the field at the same. They were not all together at the same time.
Well, it's going to be tough because Cochran played 69% of the special team snaps last year. Cam Jones played 66% of them, and Cole Christensen played 33%. That's a lot of special team snaps for them. If it wasn't like, I'm not saying they all played at the same time, but like that's kind of hard to break that up. So
Christensen was on. I think Christensen. First off, they all could 3 be on the team at the same time for a couple of games because of the call-ups. Cochran got hurt, and then I think that's when Christensen came in.
I do think it's worth noting that Deion Bush's injury definitely changes the math on special teams pretty significantly. That's a good point. So it could be that they add another linebacker just for that purpose. Yeah.
6 seems reasonable because I do think I think Cochran is a lock, and buddy. Cam Jones has been on this team for a while now too. He's not great, but like as a box linebacker, I think he's fine. I think he's better than Cochran just versus the run. Couldn't tell you a single thing about how either one of them call the defense. So it doesn't look great either way. But Cam Jones, I think, is a pretty solid like box run defending linebacker, and he has played special teams. He's actually made plays on special teams throughout his time with the Chiefs. So like, I don't know, he might also have a spot. And then I think we're all kind of chalking Bassa up to being on this team. So like that would give them 6 right there. I don't know. We'll have to see.
Who's up next? Whose question? My question is my second question.
Mm-hmm.
Throw it up, Tuck. Will Elijah Mitchell build off a good week 1? And like I know we kind of threw a little comment about him out on Monday. I think Maddie just gave him a quick little shout out. He was a player that I wanted to shout out a little bit too. The limited snaps that we saw, I thought he did some good things. He looked like he had a little bit of explosion, some stop and start, some change of direction. Like you see that play down the sideline, being able to cut up inside and get some extended yards. He looked like he had a little bit of juice left. He had more juice than, maybe he's had in years prior. And with some of the injuries sapping a little bit of that, he looked good. I thought he looked pretty good. So I just want to see, like, the running back room in general is fascinating to me because I think there's a lot. It seems like 6 receivers probably. How many tight ends do you keep? Are they exposing a Jared Wiley to waivers, which maybe they can get him right back because he's still coming back from injury. The number crunch at running back, it's interesting when you think about a fullback, and if Carson Steele is going to be a fullback, that's just a lock. Now you've really got some tough answers and some tough questions. Some tough questions to ask about your running back room. So I think Mitchell's in the thick of it, and I think you need to just continue to see him build and stack good days and good weeks. And this could be a good step in the right direction, especially if they're not going to play a Kareem Hunt, who I believe missed practice today. And if they're, what are they going to do with Isaiah Pacheco? Is he one of the guys that they're going to protect? Maybe this is the Elijah Mitchell show. Maybe this is a chance for him to just kind of get some extended look, see how he feels, see how he does. And then kind of help solidify and make the decisions that you need to make from there. So I thought it was a really good performance from him last week, and I'm very much hoping that he can build off of that.
I do want to see him run a little bit more with maybe some of the more assured to make the team offensive linemen, if that's the best way to say that. Every running back, and this is not, we've talked plenty about the running back room. We're not huge fans of where it sits right now. And yet, when I watched that game, limited number of runs, small sample size here, when they were running with these guys, everybody was above 5 yards a carry. That's Isaiah Pacheco, Kareem Hunt, and Carson Steele were all above 5 yards per carry. Now, again, very limited sample size here, but it seemed like there was more room to run. And again, preseason week 1, you take that all with a giant grain of salt. I just want to have a more like for like comparison for Elijah Mitchell and not having guys that are immediately in the backfield that he has to dodge or, ruining run lanes and things like that. I want to see what that looks like a little bit more before I start getting really excited, because I'm with Kent. There were glimpses, but I want to see it with a little better offensive line in front of it.
Listen, I think Kent's cheating off of my questions. Tucker, throw up my number 2 here. Also adjacent, is there any juice in this running back room? And this was specifically looking for Elijah Mitchell or Brashard Smith to, show me something. And to your guys' point, I thought Elijah Mitchell, he looked like he had a little bit of burst. He didn't get, I was mostly, I think, on his catch and then the one inside run where he got to get downhill. And okay, there was a little bit more juice there than I think you see from Pacheco or Mr. Kareem Hunt or Carson Steele. And so if you can really get him in the open field, maybe he works a little bit earlier on with some of the better offensive linemen. There is more space for him to run, and we can really see how far, what he's got left, how much he's returned from the injury. But he caught the ball well in his one attempt. I thought the one run that he actually had some space, he had, I believe it was an 8-ish yard gain, maybe a 9-yard gain. The other ones were kind of dead on arrival just because the blocking was not working out on them. Pass protection was fine. I thought he had some good chips coming out of the backfield. I don't think he had a true one-on-one pass set. And if he did, it was a real quick or a rollout play. So I just want to see some more from him. I want to see if he can get out in the open field and make a play. And then Brashard Smith, I don't mean this in a bad way, but show me something, right? Give me something to cling on to. Give me something in this game where I can really start to make a case to be on the team. Because right now it's one preseason game, but bad fair catch in the punt return. I don't even remember what happened on his kick return. He got one, if I'm not mistaken. He didn't do anything when he had the ability to run the ball. His best thing he did was a pass pro rep, which he did well. He was good with the pass pro rep, but you got to show me something, because you are fighting not a good room, but a room that has a lot of bodies that they probably trust a little bit more at this point in time. So let's see somebody make some plays in the run game, whether that's Elijah Mitchell or Brashard Smith. Let's just see somebody show a little juice. He
did not take the kick out, much to Dave Tobe's chagrin. He was
I know he fair caught the punt too.
Yeah, no, Dave Tobe even said, you don't get very many of these opportunities in a presser talking about how Brashard Smith did not take that out. So he was not happy about that. Kid, do you have other running back takes?
No, I echo the Brashard Smith stuff. Whelmed to this point. A lot of ball game left, but I don't know if he's a lock. It doesn't feel like he's a lock. Even though this team has done a really good job of keeping their draft picks on their roster, it's some tough sledding for me right now with him, because I don't know how he entirely fits in this group right now. I don't know if he's running back enough yet for me and for my liking. He feels kind of like a receiver convert still. that's still converting. So that's how I feel. Anyways, Craig, I want to see your second question.
My second question is, which rookies look more comfortable? We heard Ashton Gelati, we heard Omarr Norman-Lott, and we heard Noel Williams all reference the fact that it was wild to step on an NFL field for the first time. And it is for these guys. I'm not trying to say that they shouldn't be, like feeling the way that they are about that, but it takes a while for some of these things to click in and for you to start seeing the game a little bit faster. I'm not expecting that all of a sudden Noel Williams is going to go out there and be like, oh, I understand what 4.2 speed looks like across from me now, and I know how to play it. No, that's not going to be the case. But you get a little bit more comfortable. It's not, oh my God, I'm realizing my dream right now, which I'm sure is going through a lot of these guys' heads. They referenced it in pressers. We heard them talk about it in post-game content as well. I want to see how those guys take the lessons that they learned in week 1 and translate it to week 2. Omarr Norman-Lott played the run really well. I know that you guys talked a little bit about him. He looked different than most Chiefs fans expected him to look. We expected him to be more of a designated pass rusher on the interior. We've seen a little bit of that in his collegiate tape, some of that. I'm curious what he looks like preseason week 2. Okay, now I know what I'm going to be going up against. Now I know what's expected of me. I'm going to go out there and try and be that 1, 2, 3, 4% better. What does that little bit look like? Because we've seen rookies in Chiefs camp and in preseason game that will look overwhelmed at times. And then week 2, all of a sudden you start to see, oh, that's why they like that guy. That's why he was getting run with the 1s or, a consistent run with the 2s. It was because, hey, these are the things that we were going to see. Ashton Gelati is somebody that we have seen in camp be very physical, pretty dominant at times, depending on who he was going up against. I watched that game. He was fine, but was not overwhelming anybody. It wasn't the look that I really expected him to show out there. How much of that is just him being like, wow, I can't believe I'm here, and then having to click in as the game goes along. And now in preseason week 2, it's going to be, oh, okay, I'm ready for this. I'm ready to go out there. I'm ready to show that. Does he take that next step? Does Noel Williams take that next step? Does Jalen Royals take that next step, running with the 1s, 2s, 3s a little bit more regularly? I'm not as worried about Josh Simmons. He's played in a lot of high leverage situations in his career. That's a little different situation over there. But some of these other guys are really realizing a dream that maybe they weren't sure they were ever going to realize, and it can be a little overwhelming at times. So I'm going to see what that growth looks like from week 1 to week 2 for the rookie specifically.
Got any takes on the rookies, Kent?
Go, Matt. I got one coming. I got one coming.
So do I. So I was going to let you go so I can transition to mine, but that's okay. We'll do mine first.
What if we're 3 for 3?
I don't think it is. I'm going to start with Noel Williams here on the rookies because I think Dave Merritt got up and gave us a presser, and I think there's actually some other information from this. He was talking about Noel Williams and said that, somebody asked him about his comments from rookie camp, I believe it was, or from mini camp, where he was like, hey, he's swimming right now and all the information. And Merritt gets up there and says, yeah, no, he's still swimming, but he's working. He's doing it, he's doing what he needs to do. And then Merritt laid out his expectations that he tells everybody is, hey, if you play one position, you have to know every single thing about that position. You need to know it forward and backwards, and you need to know what you have to do on any given play, no matter what, before the safety has to make the call, before somebody has to tell you what to do. If you're playing one position, you need to know what you're doing. And this wasn't an attack on Noel Williams. He was just saying, these are what my expectations are. And Noel Williams is still working to get there because he's a rookie. And he said he's doing a good job. He's getting better. I immediately thought of Josh Williams when I heard that, because it's been a few years now that Josh Williams does not necessarily always know what he's doing and has to be corrected. So that was, a connection I made there. I just wanted to, use Noel Williams to get to that point. So I am excited to see what Noel Williams does, though. I think he is a guy that had some flashes in this first game, but I said it last time, he's a little too comfortable falling into trail technique for a college corner that doesn't have the best athleticism. And I think we've even seen it in some one-on-ones since the preseason game that have come out from camp. He's a little too willing to stay flat-footed And if he misses his hands at the line of scrimmage, I don't know if he has the athleticism to just fully fall on the trail technique and always be in position to defend the ball. So I would like to see him just a little bit better route recognition off the line of scrimmage, maybe not play so much from the back hip. Because again, he's not the athlete like Trent McDuffie that can live there and make all the breaks with the wide receiver. So I would like to see, it's not a, hey, do it now where I'm panicking, but I would like to see him get a little better in that specific regard.
I'm too excited about Noah Williams, and we'll get to that in a minute.
Oh, there you go. You can go to it now.
Go for it, buddy.
Have you done your 2 questions, Matt? Okay, yeah. We're 2 questions in. Fine, let's transition to it. Here's my final question. Does Noah Williams get run with the first team? So here's the thing. There's some issues with the cornerback room with the health. Like Jalen Watson's, the concussion and all that kind of stuff. I am fascinated to see if Noah Williams continues to push himself and ascend himself and insert himself into the conversation. I'm a little bit concerned, though, because we're probably not going to get the full reveal of that if the Chiefs are benching some of their superstars. It's the Trent McDuffie show. That doesn't mean that you still can't glean anything if Noah Williams is out there with the first team in the first reps, just because he continued to ascend up the pecking order. I always talk about the first preseason game can kind of be moving day, and then you start seeing some things in the last waning days of St. Joseph, Missouri. You start to see how this team starts shaking some things up with some of these rotations. I'm wanting to see what happens with Noah Williams. Is he going to get some more opportunities here, pushing himself up the room? The special team stuff that he did last week was incredible, and there was bright moments defensively. That he did some good things in that game. Let's continue to stack things together. Continue to be good against the run, showing some good moments in press. Does he continue to build and grow and develop that trust for Steve Spagnuolo? And is that showing by him getting opportunities earlier in the game? And then how much opportunity is he getting? I think this is a chance for him to really take a big step, especially if you're going to see like Trent McDuffie out. Yeah, let's get Noah some run and see how quickly Noah Williams is getting inserted into this lineup. And if he's really ascending, like I think we're hoping.
Especially since Christian Fulton is probably going to get some run. Dave Merritt sounded like a guy that was forcing Christian Fulton to play a little bit more in practice. So we'll see how much run he gets. Kent, I fully agree. My number one question from last week was, who are the guys that find themselves down the depth chart after this? So again, like you were talking about, we see moving day every single time this team runs a preseason week 1 to preseason week 2. Obviously, there's a lot of change, as we talked about at the top of the show, with the fact that some starters may be sitting here, but Noah Williams and Christian Roland Wallace are the two that I'm really paying attention to. Roland Wallace got to play early enough, and we got to see him a little bit last year. So we're understanding where he sits right now with everything. But I thought Roland Wallace specifically played really, really well, especially physically against the run. There is a play where they tried to run an outside zone. The Cardinals tried to run an outside zone, and Greg Dortch tried to block Christian Roland Wallace, and he got so upset that Greg Dortch even tried to enter his territory. He bench pressed him backwards and collected Paris Johnson, the left tackle for the Cardinals, on the way, and ended up taking 2 guys and stringing it along to the sideline. Jalen Watson ends up making the tackle, I believe, for a loss. But if you go and watch that, it's all CRW making this play. Those are the sorts of things that this coaching staff wants to see. So I want to see if he climbs the depth chart. I want to see if Noah Williams, who's very physical, is climbing the depth chart. I think we have a good idea of what a lot of these guys are, and the guys that they have drafted with athleticism to be able to stay in phase on the vertical plane are the guys that they are openly having comments and making comments about not getting it. Nazeeh Johnson when he makes a mistake, at least he's fast enough to come back. Like that was a Dave Merritt quote this week. And
bounces back well.
Bounces back well. Joshua Williams basically getting, sniped in a Noah Williams question there. I think we can kind of see the writing on the wall for some of these guys. So if they want to change and try and be a little more physical up front with these corners and adjust the way that their safeties play, that is a way that they can try and still have a trump card that they get to play in the secondary there. So I'm with Kent here. We see those guys climbing the depth chart. I think that kind of tells you what we're looking at there and how the secondary is going to be constructed.
I think it's official. Yeah. I think in the Williams cornerback power rankings for the Kansas City Chiefs, Nola has climbed to number 1. I think it's happened. I think so. I think we will find that. I think it will be a coronation this weekend.
Does Major Williams count, or are we still keeping him as a safety?
No, he does not count.
I don't think if Noah Williams plays earlier snaps than Josh Williams, it's 100% settled. But I think we're trending that direction. When I was watching going back, I like the flashes we saw from Noah Williams. Just like I said, I think if you put him out there right now for starters, if you had to, I think it would get ugly. I think he's too comfortable falling into trail technique because you can do that in college, like not getting hands on guys and just trailing on their back hip. You can do that in college. And there was a few too many times where I was just like, someone's going to run away from him in the NFL if they are not, if he's not playing against the 4th string wide receivers. So I'm not saying he can't work and he can't get better at it. Don't get me wrong. I think he's got the physicality and the demeanor that they will coach up to be a physical corner that plays the line of scrimmage. This year, you would really, I think, like to start seeing some more of those steps going forward, or he might be a guy that you hold down for special teams, keep him on the back end of the roster. Now, Josh Williams, they obviously don't love what he does, but he has to play every single year because of injuries. Like, they know they can put him out there, and he's a liability in some regards, but also capable of covering a starting NFL wide receiver and others. So it's a tricky spot for them to be in. I think I'll do my last question here. My last thing. It's not a question. It's a statement. I would like to see some Omarr Norman-Lott at nose tackle.
How?
Okay. Yeah. Go
If
ahead.
I had done that, if I had put that out there, I would have been getting torched.
Yep.
Maddie just gets a pass.
Yeah. I mean, like, listen, if you're like a volume shooter and it's bad, it doesn't work. But if like you're an efficient shooter, it works.
Aura too.
Getting so bad right
now. I don't know.
Yeah.
Did you see him dancing earlier, Tuck? We may have to think about this a little bit.
Okay, there's differences between vibe and aura. That was not aura. That was a vibe. We got to be careful how we use this word, Craig. All right. Spoiler, tomorrow, Thursday. Some of you might be listening to it right now. Those of you watching live right now, I have an article coming out at KCSN.com looking at Omarr Norman-Lott and how he performed in his first game. And hey, again, spoiler, the big crux of it was, I thought he was way better against the run than I anticipated, and struggled or didn't flash much as a pass rusher, which is the opposite of what I was kind of expecting, especially when he was playing deep in that game, like in the third quarter, where he was going up against backups. Kind of thought he would show a little bit more as a pass rusher, didn't, but I kind of liked what we saw from him as a run defender. I would like to see him start stacking a couple games together, but listening to Joe Cullen talk about, hey, Chris is the 3 tech, and we need somebody that can play both. We need somebody that can play shade and 3 tech. That showed up. He played a lot of 2-eye, Kent, and it was playing inside the guards a good amount. And so we'll just see if that continues. I would like to see his run defense continue to improve, because I do think that is not only his best avenue to get on the field, but I also think that's where his impact will be the best. We talked about it a little bit. He's a little bit of a linear mover. He was even when he was lighter. So let him stay in between the guards and don't ask him to operate in space and bend around guards out from the B gap. Keep him in tight and just add the weight. Let him play in the run. So I would like to see him play between the guards, continue to do so, and see what he looks like versus the run.
Yeah, he held up. Like, I mean, that's the best thing that I can say about him playing nose tackle is he held up. There was no point that I was thinking, oh, wow, he really got moved off of. Now, there may be one or two that I missed or anything like that. But, just from a casual watch through, I walked away going, oh, wow, okay. Well, there's an avenue towards him playing a lot of nose tackle for this team. And right now, the starting nose tackle and really the only one that they're counting on is Mike Pennell. So if that's his path towards getting more play time, figuring some of this out, he's certainly got more pass rush juice than Mike Pennell. Like, he does. And I love Mike, but like, that is just the long and the short of it. They can get a little bit more in the middle there from a pass rush perspective and still be able to stop the run. I mean, I start to get a little more excited about that draft pick.
I like to see, and I would like to see him continue to play inside more and from the, in between the guards. Like, I think that's a great point. I would be fascinated to see that. I want to see some more pass rush too. Like, I just want to get a better idea of how the additional weight is affecting, some of his movement skills and some of his rushability, and if that has been taken away at all. And like it's both sides of it. Like I think it's just overall, it's Omarr. He's a 2nd round pick. He's the 2nd highest pick in this team's draft last year.
Mm-hmm.
They need him to play, and they need him to contribute, and they need him to be, they need him to be a quality player sooner rather than later, because that is a very thin defensive line outside of Chris Jones. Yeah. And so run pass would be great. Let's just see both. Like I think it's just the whole experience for me. Like it's not just like one side of it. It's all of it. Like I just think the Omarr Norman-Lott experience and getting to know this player at the weight he's at, like I think is going to be interesting over the course of the rest of the preseason.
All right. You guys ready for my number 1? I'm putting on my tinfoil hat. You guys ready for this?
Ooh.
Tucker, flash it. Is the offense going nuclear and Andy knows it? Why are the starters not playing more? This is against type for Andy entirely. As I look at this, I was shocked when I heard it today, to the point where I had a different number 1 up here and I changed it to this. I don't get why they wouldn't get more time with all of these guys together. We have not seen Hollywood Brown, Xavier Worthy, and Rashee Rice together in meaningful snaps with Patrick Mahomes very often. That just hasn't happened, and it certainly hasn't happened with an entire offseason to build up, working into game shape, all of that. Now, Hollywood Brown, Rashee Rice, a little dinged up, so I get it a little bit there. You're turning now, your offense doesn't look the same. Maybe you don't want to show it. I posit a completely different theory here that I know can be easily disproven by week 4. So I want you to know that this is going out on a limb. I think they feel so comfortable with what Josh Simmons can offer them from a standpoint of where they can ship protection, whether that's helping Kingsley, whether that's being able to chip good pass rushers off of either side, but they're still able to leave their tackles mostly on an island. I think they feel pretty good about the types of guys that they've got on the interior. They're retaining Trey Smith, Kingsley, and his movement ability. Creed certainly is the best center in the NFL right now. I think they feel really good about these guys, their pass catchers, their ability to get downfield with Worthy, with Tyquan Thornton, with Hollywood Brown, their ability to operate in the middle of the field with Rashee Rice, and a slimmer, trimmer, more athletic Travis Kelce. I think that they have been watching this in camp for the better part of 2 months now and saying, you know what? I think this works. And I think this works in a way that we haven't seen in a minute here. And so we don't need to do anything more here. There's nothing more that we've got to go out there and rep. There's nothing more that we need to work with some of these guys. We feel so confident that this offense is going to come out there and be able to score points at will in the ways that we haven't in the past 2 years, which is why we've seen them work as hard as they have in some of these guys. Sure, the offensive line is still going to work together, as we talked about earlier. I think that they need that still. But I posit the theory here that it serves them nothing to line up and play for a quarter here, because they truly believe that with this subset of guys, they are going to be able to score and score at will in all areas of the field. And it doesn't take that much for me to get on board with that. I see how it can work. I see how all of that can fit together. And with, again, Patrick saying, we had 0 bad days. We had 0 low energy days. We had 0 things like that. Yes, the extended seasons, everything like that, all factor in. I posit a theory here that they just know they're going to be good this year. And so they don't feel like they need to work it out in a preseason week 2 game.
I think there could be some legitimacy to that. Like I know there's been injuries and stuff with the receivers, and there's been injuries with players over the course of, the training camp. But you got to remember, this team also has had a perspective, and they've had, they've had an idea of what they have with this group for 2 years, because they had a lot in the chamber last year that they didn't get to execute because they didn't have the full complement of players for the entirety of the season. And they're not going to have it for the first 6 weeks of the season either. There's also one other thing that we haven't talked about yet when it kind of with all this, it's not exactly the same as what you're talking about, but this is the first time that the Chiefs have played an AFC West opponent in week 1 since 2018. This is the first time that they like. This is the
2018.
Yeah, I just did. I was just looking.
Okay.
They haven't played a AFC West opponent in week 1 since they dropped 38 on the Chargers in 18. That was Mahomes' first. That was Mahomes' first game as a starter.
Yeah.
He hit that like ridiculous RPO, like glance to Tyreek Hill.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and then didn't he throw a sideline touchdown to Anthony Sherman in that game?
Was it that one?
I don't know.
I don't know if
All
it was
I
that
know
game.
is this is the first time that the Chiefs have played an AFC West opponent since 2018 in week 1. So, is there some gamesmanship there that they're taking into consideration with all this too a little bit? Just not trying to show much. Travis, like I said at the top of the show, and I tweeted out this today, Travis Kelce hasn't run a route on tape in an NFL game setting this offseason. It doesn't sound like he will. I wonder what the overarching thought process is, but I think there's a lot of reasons for it. Right? It is fun though. It is fun to just see this team pivoting a little bit, and maybe it is just some swag to them because they know they know that Josh Simmons is good and Mahomes is about to just push the ball down the field and go maniacal on everyone.
That's what I'm saying.
And it maybe isn't even just like the personnel with the receivers. It's just like, Pat got his swagger back. Like he's ready to just go cook, And so like they're just kind of trying to keep it at bay.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely I think it is within the realm of possibility that the Chiefs' offense comes out this year looks entirely different, not only schematically but just energy. Effort's the wrong way to go about it, but it's been a lot of football for them. And I think, hey, we're about to get this. What is it? The Kingdom, is that the name of the show coming out? That was about
tonight.
Going. Okay, sure. That's going over like how they're trying to 3P. I think we're going to see through that I think is probably weighing on some players and coaches a lot more than we ever even gave like credence to during the season. And I just wonder if they don't feel a little bit of a freedom to be away from that pressure and that talking point all the time. So it's not an effort thing. I just wonder if they feel more free. And then also in the back of their mind, there's okay, now we have the carrot to chase again too, because we just got our asses whooped in the Super Bowl, right? So there could be a lot of non-football factors like coming into this as well. So yeah, we'll see. I hope that's what this means. I hope this isn't just Andy saying, oh, okay, this is what all the young coaches are doing, so let me do it. Although I guess
young coaches are going to him now. That's
I guess
I
don't have a problem with that. Although all the other, I used this earlier, all the other young coaches, yeah, they don't play like the McVays don't play players in the preseason, but they also do the joint practices that they treat as preseason games. So like it's not entirely like they don't do anything. But still, like we'll see how it plays out. I hope this is the case though. I could certainly sell myself that story.
Anything else, gentlemen?
No, stay healthy, please.
Yes, stay healthy. To good health.
Stay healthy.
To good health.
Question mark.
Tuck,
and then
you need to jump on here? Come on, man.
You got 1 minute. Where you going to?
No.
The KCSN post-game show will be right after this game that will end into Saturday morning. It will be me and Tucker, and maybe just me and Tucker. If you are a sicko and listen to 7 Minutes with Craig, please be a sicko and join us for the KCSN post-game show on most likely Saturday morning. It is going to be a lot of fun. That is going to do it for this episode of the KC Laboratory. Thank you all so much.
Oh, now you like the music.
So much for listening.
So very, very much.
Watching. Subscribing. We love you. We appreciate you. We'll catch you later.
I don't like it when you did it, Kent.
Yeah.